Right guys, what's going on? Welcome to the live stream. I'm going to run a few tests to see if everything is working. So what I would like to know is how the audio is and what the quality is of the image, if you can see everything. If you don't, let me know in the chat so I can address some of the things. And then I'm going to wait till we've got a few more viewers, and then I'm going to switch around. This is the second time I'm doing a live session, so that means I can't cut stuff out, and I'm really looking forward to it, but it means that I'm not a professional when it comes to this, so I might mess some things up. I do have everything set up that I can switch between screens. For instance, what I'm going to do right now is we're going to edit 4 photos. I'm going to switch to the first one and I'm going to check and see if the transition is going fine. So I'm switching to Darktable right now. I've got a chat from George Hellely. Audio and image good here. Mauricio, the audio is good. Hey, nice seeing you guys, man. A good here from GL Wood Creations. Mark Adams says all okay as well. There you go. Okay, so we've got 6 viewers right now. I'm not a Peter McKinnon, but I definitely, let me start off by saying that I appreciate all of you, and especially the support you guys give me on my channel and with the comments on my videos and stuff like that. That's what, gets me out of bed to make these videos. I plan on making a lot more videos about Darktable. I might throw in some occasional DaVinci, but I think I'll stick to Darktable right now because they tend to do the best. Especially my new series. Let me know in the chat what you guys think of the new series, because I'm having a lot of fun making those. Because A, they're very quick to make, and B, in my opinion, it helps you guys save a lot of time. And just when you want to know something, Mark Adams left a comment on his Facebook group. Feel free to post it, Mark, saying that my videos are like bite-sized chunks of information. So if you're working on something and you want to know how what it is, that you can just go to my video, check it out, and know within like 2 or 3 minutes everything you need to know about the module. So, okay, so Mike Winston says, fine here in Wales, UK, Wales, is that how I pronounce it? Okay, so what we're going to do right now is, this is an image which has been sent to me by, I have to check, I think his name is Vladimir, because I've asked him if I could use them, and he said, yeah, you can use all of them, because he made a couple of photos in this area, which is the Kibany Mountains, and his name is Vladimir Chebotarevsky. I hope I said it correctly. I'm going to make sure that after the stream, I'm going to put a link in the description to his Instagram, because I want to thank him for sending me this photo. What I'm going to do is, this photo won't be available for you guys because I didn't discuss it with him. So we're going to edit this photo, and I'm not going to take a long time with all the photos, but the 3 photos afterwards are available. I've put a link in the chat that you can go to and then download the photos, so you can either follow along or use them to your own creations or stuff like that. The 3 photos are a photo of lightning. There was a lot of thunder 2 days ago, and I really wanted to capture one, because the thing is, I've got a camera over here which is the Panasonic G85, and I'm shooting this on my GH5 right now, but the GH5 with this lens actually flipped over on the asphalt and it got damaged. I've got it repairable. I've got it damaged when I was shooting lightning, because a wind blew it. Like there was a lot of wind, and then it blew it. I don't know how you say it, but it just fell down. And then I had to, I even messed up the photo, because the funny thing was, there was lightning and I was setting up, and then I was like, oh, there's lightning over there. And then I was setting up the camera, and then every time I just missed it by like an inch, and it just annoyed me, and then the camera fell down and stuff like that. So I finally was able to take a photo of lightning 2 days ago, and I've got a photo which I've used in my Pikachu video. If you haven't seen it, it's a parody, a Pokemon parody. You can find it on my channel. And the last one is a photo of Nacho, my dog. if you got, Wales as in Wales. Okay, thanks Mark. Thanks Mike. If you guys got any questions about either what I'm doing or you want me to showcase something in Darktable, just let it know in the chat. And then, because I've got 2 monitors, so I'll have a look. And then if I can do something right away, I'll do it. And that way you guys have like a live interaction with me. So without further ado, let's start with this image. I didn't rehearse this image. I didn't practice this image. I just looked at this image and I was like, it's got a lot of potential. Reason being is because it's got very bright areas and it's got very dark areas, which makes it very hard to edit. And in this case, usually what I do is I check out the composition if it's pretty fine. I see that the horizon is a little bit crooked. So I'm going to change it actually. So let's go and use the crop and rotate module. You've got the, I don't know if you guys know, but you've got the perspective correction module as well. Let me show you guys. I don't think I've made a video about this just yet. But what you can do is you can just rotate the entire image. So let's say the image was taken like this. All I got to do is rotate it. That's the most easiest way to do it. And then put automatic cropping on the original format or on the largest area. And then if you close it down, boom, there you go. So now the image isn't crooked anymore as far as I can tell from here, because I got a light shining over here to separate me from the background. And so let's continue working with this image. So the way I edit my image is based on 2 things. Like I said in the video I've uploaded last Monday, I'm doing a color correction and then I'm color grading it, if anything. So what this needs is some contrast, it needs some saturation and all the stuff you guys know, maybe even better than me, because some of you are actually pretty good in taking photos, especially in Marky's group. I saw a lot of great photos over there that make me go like, how did you do that? So let's continue. I'm going to use, in this case, the basic adjustments module. It's one of my favorites because it's a quick and dirty way to change stuff. And in this case, what I'm going to do is, actually, here's a fun part, guys. If you want to have a laugh, I've been talking into the camera and I didn't change it to me speaking, so you guys kept seeing the dark table. I'm sorry. Okay, let's continue. So we need to address the black level because it's a little bit over here, and we need to address the exposure as well, because if a image is properly exposed, there we go, then everything is covered. So I'm just going to increase this by scrolling the mouse wheel button away from me, and I'm going to do the same thing for the exposure. You can use the sliders as well, or use your right mouse button. For those of you that are new with Darktable, because let me know in the chat if you're new to Darktable, because then I'll explain some things more thoroughly. So if you've got 3 ways to change it. One is with the mouse buttons. Second way is to hit the right mouse button and then fill it in manually. There we go. And the third way is just moving these sliders around. So this is washing the image out, so decreasing the black level, and this is increasing the black level. All right, so let me put that back. There we go. So we've increased the exposure a little bit. I'm not going to address the contrast over here. I'm not going to mess around with the saturation and the vibrance. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the color lookup table. And guys, I'm using the search module because I'm using Darktable 3.0. And usually when I do a photo, let me change to the camera real quick, transition. There we go. What I usually do is I put everything in my favorites, and then that way it's a great starting point, and I can just, use the modules for that specific image. In this case, I'm not going to do it. You can use the search bar for it, or you can use the group menus or the drop down menu, more modules. I'm going to show you guys. So let's transition back to Darktable. And then here we've got the group menus that you can use. So like for colors and stuff like that. And here you've got the more modules. So if you click it, then you can scroll down. I'm just curious. Hey Eric, how you doing, buddy? I'm just curious. Are there people watching this stream on their phone? If so, let me change back to me. If so, could you please let me know in the comment section if everything is visible, because I can't enlarge in anything and I want you guys to follow along. So If that's the case, if you're on your phone and you can't follow it, drop a chat as well, and then I'll just repeat which module I'm using or anything like that. Back to Darktable. Let's go. We're going to use the color picker. I'm just going to do this really quick. Here's a blue one, and it says that it recognizes this blue color. But for some reason, what I want to do is, because I'm a little bit stubborn, I'm going to hit the shift, I'm going to hit here, and there you see that the blue that I've selected is actually a little bit lighter. And if you, I forgot the term, I made a video about this, but if you want to change it, make it cinematic or anything, you can just move the colors around. So you can increase the magenta or introduce magenta, a little bit of green. And what I like to do is, because this is the blue, you can add blue to make it very blue, or you can add in some green, and that's my preference because that somehow makes the sky look a little bit more natural. And I'm going to decrease the lightness a little bit because I don't want the attention to be on the sky. There we go. Now what I want to do is I want to address the colors. One of my favorite things to do is change like a summer-like photo into a fall photo or something like that. And you can use the color zones module for that. So let's just do that. And I'm going to explain you guys the parametric mask real quick, because it's one of the things I've got a lot of questions about. And I'm going to use this symbol, so the drawn and parametric mask, because that way I can use, let's say, a brush. Hey, why isn't it? Okay, so it's actually doing very funky stuff right now. Let me try it again. Nope. Okay, that's weird. It's not working. So apparently Darktable is having a little bit of fever. So there we go. Brush. Still not working. Let me switch back to me. I don't know what's happening. But I'm going to close on Darktable real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reopen Darktable to see. I've probably lost my my progress, but that's okay because I'm going to fix that. We're going back into Darktable. I'm going to double click the image. There we go. So we're back in the color zones module. We didn't lose our progress. That's a great thing. Let's see if we can use the brush right now. Yeah, there you go. So if you scroll it towards you, it becomes bigger. If you scroll it away from you, it becomes smaller. And you can just paint over an area that you want to affect. So let's say we're going to paint over these green areas. And I want to change the hue of the greens into a little bit more red. So I can use a color picker to determine where the color is. So obviously it's over here because it's green, but I can use this as well. And then it says that these pixels that are over here are in this spectrum. So I'm going to drop down these pixels and we're going to change the color. There we go. It's a little bit more yellow. And that's how you can change the hue of certain colors. So let me undo that. I don't know what happened, but it's not working the way I wanted it to be. So I'm going back to the color balance module. Activate it. And here we're going to address the contrast. So I'm going to click this. And now we're going to increase the contrast. And that really makes an image stand out. And if you want to keep the sky soft, you can work with masks, for instance, like I showed you guys painting over it. But let's say you just want to increase this area. So for that, we're going to use the draw and parametric mask. So I'm going to draw a path, and this is just for demonstration purposes. So not to make this look awesome. So here we've got this area, and I'm going to click this. There we go. So this is the area that's selected in the image. And you've got two different sliders. You've got the output and you've got the input. And this says that the adjustment based on input received by this module, range defined by upper markers, defined by lower markers, and between adjacent upper lower markers blend gradually. Basically what that means is, I'm going to show you guys, if you move this inwards, like this, so that they match up, that means that there's not any, let's call it bleeding or blurring or feathering or whatever you want to call it. But if you move the lower ones outwards, you see that it's starting to, I'm going to show this very slowly, it's starting to feather out a little bit. And some people don't really know what the difference is between the output and the input. But how I'm going to explain it to you guys, there we go. How I'm going to explain it to you guys is that the now the input is set on both sides. So on the left side and on the right side. And maybe someone will correct me that I'm wrong or whatever. But in my opinion, as far as I can understand it, because I'm not a programmer of Darktable, but you've got one on the outer left side and one on the outer right side. That same goes for the output and the input. When you move the input sliders inwards, you create a new area of pixels that are being defined, that are being calculated. And from those pixels that you're determining with the mask that you're creating are the output pixels. So let me show you guys in Darktable. I hope I explain it correctly, because my English is well enough, I think, but some of the things are hard for me to explain as well. So let's say we're going to move this inwards, and this one as well. I don't want the darker pixels, so I just want to affect the sky, and I don't want to affect, well, I'd rather not affect that one, but let's see what happens. And now we've got an input area, and now we're moving the output sliders inwards. There we go. Work. And it's starting to change. So the way I explain it is that this determines what this is doing. So the input sliders are determining the outcome of the output sliders, which sounds logical, but if you move it, if you've got them on the outer sides, basically this is creating a new selection within a selection. So let's see what the chat says. Mark says, I have a standard set of modules in my favorites that I share with people as it covers a lot. There you go. Mauricio says, what's the difference, if there is one, in contrast, in basic adjustments, and contrast like in the local contrast module? And A1 Boca Rico, I made it, bro. Wanted to ask you a question. How do you feel about editing a photo in DaVinci Resolve compared to Darktable? Okay, Mark. Okay, A1. I'm going to respond to that in a minute. Mauricio, your question. What the difference is between... I'm going to switch to me. What the difference is between contrast in basic adjustment and contrast like in the local contrast module is the easiest way to explain it. And I like to explain things in an easy way, in a quick and dirty way. The way I explain it is that the contrast in the basic adjustments module is like the regular contrast that you're using in an image. So before there was a basic adjustments module, let me go back, there was a, I think it was, yeah, there was a contrast, brightness and saturation one. And that one, I'm moving to a different module right now, but that one had the contrast, brightness and saturation as well. And that just decreases or increases the contrast overall. But if you're using, so let's say we're putting it like this, if you're using the local contrast module, that's more like a clarity module. You see that different areas are being affected, and you can change the output as well, because you can say like, I don't want the highlights to be affected, and I don't want the midtone range. I want to change the midtone. I'm sorry. I want to change the midtones a little bit, and you can change. You can increase it, the contrast in the shadows, so, or you can decrease it, and you can see that this is a very strong effect. So right now it's the standard values, and if you move this all the way to the right, this is how the image is going to look. Now let's go back to the contrast, brightness, and saturation module. Where is it? There you go. If I move this all the way over here, it's not even remotely the same. So there's a huge difference. So basically the contrast, brightness, saturation, like the contrast in the basic adjustments module or in this module or in the color balance module, is like the regular one, and then the local contrast is when you want to, you know, add some clarity. And I thought it had a preset, a clarity preset, but I might be, what's that word? I might be messing it. What's that? I don't know how you say it. I might. There are different modules that might have the clarity preset. I don't know which one it is, but I hope that answered your question. So we've got 16 viewers, 2 likes. That's great. A1 Bokeh, I wanted you to ask a question. How do you feel about editing a photo in DaVinci Resolve compared to Darktable? Well, A1, let me tell you that. Let me switch back to me. Let me tell you that DaVinci is great for color grading and stuff like that. It was actually made for that, and then for the cinematography and stuff like that. So for the film industry, Darktable is purely made for the photographers, and both have their purposes. It sounds ridiculous, but it's true. And I'd suggest sticking to a program like either Lightroom or Darktable or Luminar or On1 or whatever program you want to use for photos, and then use DaVinci Resolve for videos. But what you can do, and that's a great part about DaVinci, for those of you watching that don't know, what you can do is you can actually create a LUT in DaVinci Resolve, which is for free, because the studio version costs $2.99, but there's a lot of stuff you can do in free, including creating LUTs, and you can use that LUT in Darktable. So, like I said, both have their purposes, but that might be something to check out. If you want to make something and make your own LUTs with free programs, you can use DaVinci for that. So let's go back. And because of all these modules, I kind of forgot where we were. So let's just go to the color balancer. Let me edit this real quick because we've got more photos to edit. All right, so we've already increased the contrast a little bit. We can increase it some more. But wait, there was a mask. So contrast fulcrum. Let me increase that. And you can change this as well to see what is being affected in the image. There we go. I'm going to change the output saturation a little bit. I'm not very pleased with this result. Let me redo that. I'm not pleased with that result at all. You see that even for me, it's a trial and error. I'm not like a professional photo editor or anything like that. So we've got this one covered. Now I'm going to use the color balance one. So I'm not going to use the color lookup table. Let me go and add in some contrast again. And let me increase some saturation. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the local contrast module. Activate it. There we go. Oh yeah, and I wanted to show you guys something as well, which I think is pretty cool use of the low-pass module. I don't know if you guys saw my video on that, but so now you go like, Rico, why are you doing that? That looks horrible. Where's my image? Well, we're going to put this on 0. I probably go too fast for you guys, but I'm going to edit this real quickly because you can't follow along. So we're moving on to the next image in a minute. And then we're using uniformly blend mode. We're going to change that to overlay. And there we've got the image back. And look what happens. See? Oh, ain't that something? So now you can increase it. And that already looks a lot better than it did before. So here's the original one. And here's a semi-edited photo. So let me know in the chat what you guys thought of it. Okay, let's move on to the second photo that you guys can see. What I already did in this image is I've changed some stuff around. And we're going to create this image. So we're going to make, we're going to put the emphasis on the lightning. There we go. So Alex Alvarez, hi people. If you're Spanish, hola Alex, ¿cómo estás? Todo muy bien. Bienvenidos a mi canal. Hablo un poco de español, pero suficiente para una conversación. Okay, wait, I wasn't in. There you go. Hablo un poco de español, pero suficiente para una conversación. Okay, back to Darktable. So I've did some spot removals. I didn't do it in the original image, I remember, so I might change that later on. Don't tell anyone. Okay, so we're going to create this photo. I've taken it 2 days ago. So I'm going to open up my, there we go. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is the basic adjustments once again. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to increase the black level just a little bit, not too much. And we're going to increase the exposure to make it stand out a lot already. And we're not going to change anything else. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use the second module, because that already looks a lot different. Look, there we go. See? And obviously it was dark, but we're going to use the tone curve right now. And that's a very powerful module as well. And you can even use a new instance and still have it affect the image without changing this. So you can do so by going to the blend mode and then change it to, let's say, where was it? To, let's say, a hard light, for instance. Pretty cool. Now, let's say you want to do this. This is all like improv. So let's say you want to do this. And now what we're going to do is create a mask, an ellipse. That's way too small. I don't know why it's that small. That's the fun part about not rehearsing anything. Obviously, I made this photo before, and this looks horrible, but you can always feather and blur it, and that already makes a lot of difference. Not bad. So back to the basic adjustments, back to the tone curve, first one, and I want to increase this. There we go. And I want to create a mask. And I'll show you guys why, because this looks horrible. So, wait, maybe this one's a little bit better. So now you think that only this is being affected, but I'm going to change this symbol, which is the polarity. And now everything is being affected except this light. So let's feather it, let's blur it to not make it so obvious. And this already starts to come together real nice. Now I want to add the local contrast. Let me see who asked me about that. Alex says, excellent, I don't speak English. Who asked me about the... Oh, contrast equalizer clarity preset. Thanks, Darshana. Okay, so back to the... Let's add a local contrast. That's what we're going to edit. If I go too fast, just let me know, because you guys can follow along. But yeah. And let's increase it a little bit. Oh, not too much. By around 130. And I'm actually going to mask this. So I'm going to put a mask over the lightning strike. Let's feather it. Let's blur it. There we go. And after that, what we're going to do is I want to denoise the image a little bit. Let me show you guys. Let me zoom in. So we've got some noise. This was shot on the G85, by the way. So let's use the denoise. And I got to be honest with you guys. I just click this. That's all I do. Literally, that's all I do. I just click this. I don't even look. I don't even change anything. I don't even know what everything is. I'm real honest with you guys, but what I do know is that it starts to become a little bit more soft. And in this case, I'm going to address that by using the low pass module again that I showed you guys a minute ago. So we're going to activate it, and we are going to increase the radius, which you saw a minute ago is making it even more blurrier. Let me zoom out. But because we're using the blend mode overlay, ta-da! We've got some changes. Now I've got to put this on 0, saturation on 0. I'm going to, it's lagging a little bit. I'm going to increase this by a little, and I want to saturate it. Let's do, well, that might be okay. There we go. Now there's two things you can do. You can either make a mask again and then put it over the lightning strike if that's what you want to address. But then using it on the entire image counteracts the softness on the entire image. So I suggest you guys keep it like this. And then one thing I want to do is, because this is a fisheye lens, is I want to use the lens correction module. I'm going to activate that one. But this was shot on my, what is it again? 7 Artisan 7.5mm. And by the way, guys, let me change to me. By the way, guys, all the gear that I'm using in my studio, and in general, but usually in my studio, is in the description down below as well. And those are Amazon links, which are affiliate links, I'm going to be honest. But they won't cost you any more money, but it does help me help you support my channel. Yeah, there you go. Because I'm getting a small commission from sales and stuff like that. So feel free to click it, check out my gear, and if you've got any questions about my gear, let me know as well. What I've got in the comment section as well is the fact that you can either buy me a coffee or become a patron. And if you're a patron to my channel, you get exclusive insights. So I've uploaded a behind the scenes in which I'm talking you guys through my studio. Sometimes you get early access, and you can support me starting from $2 to $4. And if you support me by $10, I'll even edit some photos for you guys. Or if you don't want a monthly subscription, which might be the case because that's why a lot of people use Darktable instead of Adobe, you can buy me a coffee as well. A link for that is in the description as well. It's a one-time purchase just to to help me with my channel, support me or whatever. So back to the photo again. Let me transition back to Darktable. And there's one more thing that I want to do, lens correction. There we go. So the lens isn't in this menu over here. So what I decided to do was use the Samyang and then click on this 7.5mm. But then, where's my photo? I know where it is. It's not over here. So let me reset that. So I just did it differently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the, let's see, where is it? I forgot where it is. I think I was the Panasonic one, that one. Yeah, there you go. So the Panasonic Lumix G Vario 7 to 14mm, and this already looks a lot better. So this is the end result of this photo. I hope you guys like it. Maybe drop a comment in the chat. Let me go back to me real quick before we move on. Let's see what we got in the chat. What's the contrast? Okay, I made it. Yep. Mark said local contrast module is a must-have if you set up regular favorites. Absolutely. Contrast equalizer. Yeah. Thanks for the explanation, Mauricio. I'm glad you like it. A1 bokeh, interesting. Alex, hi people. Okay, hi all. Did you know you can change exposure and black point by hovering over the histogram and scrolling up and down, left side black point, right side exposure? That's a great thing, Philip. Let me show you guys in the new photo that we're going to create. Here's the end result. You guys aren't seeing it. There we go. So here's the end result of the photo. I'm showing you guys. So here's the original. And I'm just going to show you guys. You can either move this with your mouse or you can just scroll away. But if you just drag it to the right, you're increasing or decreasing the exposure. You can do it from this point as well. The same goes for the black point. So now let me do Control Z to undo everything. Come back. Where's my image? Where's my image? And what I started to use lately, come back. Ah, there you go. What I started to use lately are duplicates. So I just make a image and then I double click on the duplicate, and then I've got a starting image again. So it makes two XMP files. Let me go back. It makes two XMP files. So that way you always have the edit that you've made, and then you can create a new edit. Because sometimes, at least in my experience, when I'm editing a photo and I want to redo it, because usually the photos that I use for my videos, because this isn't one, but that I use for my videos, I rehearse once. Just filling around, you know, it's like a Wednesday evening, it's like a Friday afternoon or evening when I'm off from work. and I just fiddle around with some photos. I'm like, hey, that looks good. Okay, cool. Let me remember that. I write everything down, and then I try to replicate it during the video. And that didn't always work out because my mind just, I don't know if some of you guys have the same thing, but what my mind does is when I get an idea, it just goes like, and then I'm tearing stuff apart. I just do my thing, like I'm in the zone, go with the flow, you know, stuff like that. And then when I'm done, I'm like, how did I do that? So I started to write everything down. I even make screenshots to make sure that I remember. So let's start with this. No, wait, let me read some chats real quick. Okay, yeah, Alex, don't speak. Excellent. I don't speak English. Oh, no hablas inglés. Ay, caramba. Okay, Darshana, you can use the low light vision module for this pic. Hello, Rico from Athens, Greece. Hello. Unfortunately, I don't know what it is in what's this? I'm getting a message. Okay, so someone said something in the chat. Doctor approved. Okay, weergeven. CyberDoc. There you go. Which is better, the sharper module or the high pass filter? Good question. I don't really use the high pass filter, so I don't really have a great answer for that to you. Personally, I use the sharper module and usually in conjunction with the denoise module, because the denoise module makes everything a little bit more soft, and then the sharper module counteracts that. In this video I showed you guys how to do that with the low pass filter, but I think the high pass filter, and maybe Mark knows that or other photographers, is usually used in portraits. And I actually had one photo shoot with a girl. I've made a few videos with a photo from her, but other than that I didn't have any photo shoots with actual people. Like I'm here in my attic, you know, working on these videos. I'm not getting out a lot, and I'm having a hard time to get my girlfriend in front of the camera to take a nice picture. So what do? I just shoot other stuff, or when I'm on holiday, from mountains and landscapes and whatever I'm going to find, or maybe one of my bike, you know. So I don't really use that module a lot. So Darshana says contrast equalizer is better than sharpen or highlight. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit this. Let me pull up my notes real quick. There we go. And let me change the dark table. There we go as well. And what we're going to do is the first thing. And once again, basically, don't just go like, oh man, again. Yeah, again. We're just going to increase the exposure real quick. Increase the black level just a little bit, and that's all she wrote. So I'm not going to change anything else, you know. Maybe I should add some contrast just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now one of my favorite modules is the tone equalizer module. Let me open it, activate it, and here's the fun part. I'm going to put my mouse on Pikachu. I'm going to scroll away from me, and that's way too much. What I can do is I can put it on him, hold control, scroll it away from me. So that's in smaller increments. Or what I can do is put it on him, hit shift, and boom. So that's way too much. So I'm going to hit control, just going to scroll up because I want to brighten him, because this is the subject of my photo. The video of this photo is on my channel. Check it out. It's a parody. Unfortunately, it hasn't been watched a lot, which is pretty sad because it took me a lot of work. I'm going to put my mouse over here. I'm going to decrease it. And look what I've done. I didn't add a vignette, but I definitely draw... no, wait. I'm definitely drawing the attention to the subject that I want to emphasize, which is Pikachu. So, orientation. There we go. Flat image. Basic adjustments, there we go. Some contrast, and now tone equalizer, boom. What a difference. What a difference. Let's move on to the next one. Local contrast. I'm not going to use a mask or anything. I'm going to activate it. And a lot of you know that I love 150%. And let's just say this is too much. You can do two things. You can fiddle around with these values. You can just put it back on 125%. I'm going to put it on 150, but what you can do as well is go to uniformly and then change the opacity. And I'm really curious, this is a fun fact, in my opinion. Let me show the chat. So, guys, I'm Dutch, right? You guys probably knew here from my accent. Is it opacity or is it opacity? Because in some videos, I hear people say like, "Oh, that's too opaque," and I'm listening to that and I'm like, "Okay." So let me know how to pronounce it in the chat. I'd love to know. You guys all speak better English than me, probably. So that way I can learn from you guys as well. Back to the video. So we're going to change transition. It's just a great word, transitioning. Okay, so local contrast. And you can move this slider. So you see what it does. If you put it on 0, nothing is happening. And then if you put it on 100, a lot is happening. I, on the other hand, I'm going to put it on 75%. Yep, pretty satisfied with that. Let me close that one down. And we've got another module, which is the denoise module. And you know, I'm kind of like, I'm just going to activate it. There we go. And in this case, I'll just add the sharpen module. There we go. And maybe I can show you guys the difference. So we've got the local contrast over here. And then we've got denoise, which is getting rid of the noise. So let's just see if we can see it in his eye. So there we go. And now add the sharpen one. And now the eye is a lot sharper. You can use a mask if you just want to affect this area or whatever. But I'm just going to keep this in a standard value. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the color lookup table. And I want to address the red. So I'm going to use a color picker. There we go. So this is the red value. I'm going to decrease the lightness a little bit. But I am going to increase the saturation a little bit. There we go. Because I don't want it to seem as if it's blown out. And I'm going to close that one down. And do we have some fringes around the edges? I can't really tell. But we can have a look by using the chromatic aberrations module. I don't see any changes, so just going to keep this. You can undo it if you want to. And then maybe back to the color balance one, which is great for contrast and saturation. We already added some contrast, but let's see how it looks if we just add some more using this module, because I just like to use a lot of modules just for the sake of it. And there you go. So here we've got the final result. Let me show you guys before and after. So here's the orientation. Oh yeah, and if you want a quick way, guys, go to the last step, take a snapshot, and then go to the original one, select the snapshot. You see? Before, after. And if you want to change the views, just click this. So there you go. Click it again. There you go. Click it again. Oh, well, you guys get the point. That was pretty hilarious. Okay, so final image that we're going to do tonight. I don't know for how long I've been streaming. 44 minutes probably. That's one of the longest videos I've done on this channel. I'm going to have a quick look on the chat to see that sharpen module will affect everything unless a mask applied, while low pass you can target edges by contrast. Generally, sharpen is fine most of the time. George Hadley, City. Opacity. Alright, cool. Opaque is how I pronounce it. First sounds better to me. Opacity, opaque, and opacity. Okay, so if you shorten it down, Mike, it's opaque. And if you just say it out in full, it's opacity. Okay. Okay. Why exporting RAW to JPEG and Darktable takes a long time? Well, Mano, maybe you need a new computer. I'm not trying to be, annoying, but maybe that's the case, because this computer over here that I've built, which has cost me quite some money, quite amount of cash, makes Darktable run smooth. But I have a gaming laptop which actually has an NVIDIA 1060 6GB video card, and that already is a lot slower. And then I'm using the laptop that my girlfriend is using, which is my previous one, and that's very slow as well. So it definitely has to do with the hardware. I think it has to do something with OpenCL as well. I don't know. Sometimes I see the messages, and if you want to know more about Darktable and you want to speak to developers and you're into that stuff, what you can do is you can go to pixelus.us. I post there as well when my videos are up, but that's where a lot of developers are, and bright and smart people that can actually tell you how certain stuff works. Because I'm going to be completely honest with you guys on this channel. If you guys ask me what the mathematics behind a module is, or how stuff works, or pixel pipelines, or how you cannot change orders around, or otherwise your image will be blah 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 blah, I have zero knowledge about that. All I know is, or all I'm doing is, I'm looking at a photo, I imagine it inside of my head. Sometimes it just doesn't work out and I have to redo it again, but eventually it's there, and I just eyeball it. I know I've been using Darktable for quite some time now. I think I've made over 85 or maybe even 90 videos about it, and it just all automatically goes for me, and I'm pretty sure I can even make my photos look even better. But that's just a matter of how much time do you have, how much time do you want to spend, because this is a hobby. Making these videos is a hobby. It's a passion, but bottom line, it's a hobby, So, decide for yourself and stuff like that. And if you really, really want to know more about it, there are great people on pixelus.us that can tell you everything about this program, how it works, why it works, what it does, and that's their territory, to be honest. Right, final photo. I don't know why it's not showing on my Darktable screen. I do, because I had the snapshot selected. Okay. Here we have Nacho. Nacho is a 4-year-old mixed breed between an English Staffordshire Terrier and a Friese Stabij. Now, I don't know, maybe I can show you guys, because I've never shown this on my channel. Friese Stabij. There we go. Afbeeldingen. I'm just speaking Dutch right now. Let me see if you guys can see this. Back to the... Yeah. So, Nacho is a mix between this dog, which is his dad. This is not his dad, but a dog similar to that. And an English Staffordshire Terrier. There we go. And this. This is actually how his mother looks. So, he's a great dog. But we've got one problem with him, which is that he isn't neutered. And I don't want to have him neutered because he's got some anxiety. And I'm afraid if we cut off his balls, then he doesn't get any more testosterone, which makes him even more of a wuss. So, in my mind, it's like basically balancing him out. Like he's scared, but then his testosterone goes like, man up, you dude. And then he just becomes an ordinary dog. But if he sees a other male dog, he's not the loving kind of dog you expect to have. I can't even take him to the beach because all he wants to do is kill him. So it's like matar for those that are speaking Spanish. So, Nacho. This photo was taken in Lauterbrunnen in Switzerland. We've been to Switzerland. Great country. Not our favorite place. We're not going back to it again, but it does have some great scenery. It was way too hot and everything was completely different than our experience in Spain. This year, depending if we're moving houses, we're going to Norway again, most likely, and I'm going to use... I'm going to record a lot of drone footage. I'm going to create some awesome videos, and I'm going to take more photos, awesome photos. I'm going to share them with you guys. You can do whatever with them. So, we've got that coming. So the first thing that I've noticed in this photo from Nacho, let me go to Darktable, is two things. One is the spot on his eye, which annoys me. Well, two, to be honest. And this white spot. I mean, what is this? I have no idea. It looks like bird shit. But this was the first time we've used this boat over here. So I want to get rid of that. So for that, we're going to use the spot removal. I'll read the chats in a minute, guys. And there's two ways to do this. You've got the spot removal tool, which just goes like, boop, gone, you know. But it doesn't have any masking. You can you know, change the opacity, but it doesn't have a masking function. It does, but not the way I want it to be. So not a drawn mask. So that's one way to do it. And make sure that when you use this, the spot removal tool, don't just go like this, because that looks absolutely horrible. And I'm going to prove it to you guys by just closing this one down. That doesn't look good. So if you're moving this, make sure that the donor area is always close to the area that you're trying to cover. So in this case, let me see where the spot is. I'm going to make this a little bit less big. I'm going to I'm going to decrease the feathering. I'm going to bring this in. Maybe on the other side a little bit. Let's see how that looks. That's better. So let's try it over here as well. That might be a little bit hard because it's very harsh. This is a dark area, so not too worried about that. But I'm going to hit Control. I don't need a new instance, which you can do over here. But I'm going to hit Control, add a circle. There we go. Yeah, I'm not. I want to make sure that this basically, you know, runs through. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. I'm going to use a spot removal for here as well. And you can use a path as well. All you got to do is just move this around to any desired shape or form. Hit the right mouse button to close it down. And just figure out what looks good. So we've got the light coming in. This just looks like ordinary debris. Yeah, I think it's called debris or mud or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to keep this as is. So now his eyes are clean, and the boat is as well. Well, as much as it can. So let's use the color balance module, because in this case I'm going to use the color balance module for the contrast again. I have to be honest, I saw Boris doing this. He's got a great channel. He's got great videos. Let me switch back to me. Boris, if you're watching this or going to watch this, you're doing an amazing job on the videos. He's actually showcasing how to use Darktable. He's not making tutorials, but he's just editing photos and then showcasing it. And I saw him use this module for the contrast, and I was like, I'm going to use that. So that way we can all learn from each other. So I'm going to increase the contrast. There we go. I love how this dog looks, man. He's such a nice dog. And I'm going to the tone equalizer module, because what I do, equalizer module, because what I want to do is I want to increase this side of his face. I know I can't make it too bright, but because he's a black dog, it's hard to photograph him unless he's full on. He's got light blasting on him. So let me activate it. There we go. And now it's not working again. I don't know why it does. So if you're a developer and you're watching, let's go back to me real quick and let me reboot Darktable. I don't know why this is. It's pretty annoying, especially if you want to do something. Darktable. There we go. Click. And now we've got the tone equalizer. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to increase this a little bit. But in this case, I'm going to use a mask. And I'm going to use a brush. Maybe feather it. There we go. And to start here on the outline. Because we're feathering it, it doesn't have to be very, very precise. I'm going to do it again. We have to take the blue cast into consideration as well. And what I'm going to do is feather it, blur it. Let's see how that looks. And blur it some more. I decrease it. And then, there we go. So now we've brightened. How does that look? A little bit better. So I'm going to close that one down. And let me show you guys if I can. I'm not satisfied with what I showed you guys a minute ago in the different video. So I just want to add a point. Let me drag this one down. Because that didn't go as I wanted it to go. You see, this is a lot better to showcase. So if you move this around, so you know the greens are over here, and you drop it down, you see that this color is starting to change. Obviously, the entire image is being affected, but this is just to showcase it. I couldn't showcase it to you guys properly in the first one, but now I can. So now you guys know. And if you want to saturate the entire image, there's another way to do it. There's a lot of ways you can do certain things in Darktable. You can just click on the saturation tab and just saturate the colors you want to saturate or desaturate them. That way you can just go like, I want to keep the warm colors, but I want to desaturate the cool colors, for instance. There's a lot of ways you can use this with or without a mask. So in this case, I'm going to deselect it. And I already like how this looks because this is a very well lit image. So I might just go back to the color balance and just add in some saturation just to give it more punch. You see? Just to give it more punch. There we go. So let me go back to the... oh, wait. You guys see me back to the... There we go. Keep the jewels, don't cut them, gotta run. Thanks, pro setup, damn. What is the Darktable alternative? Camera calibration and Lightroom. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Switch the video. Switch back to Darktable. Cameras off. Can you switch back? I'm sorry, guys. Okay, let me show you guys what I've done. So, I've used the color balance module. So, here's the original one. I did the spot. You guys didn't see the spot removal as well? Let me know. In the chat. Because I just show you guys again. Did you guys see me doing the spot removal? Or didn't you guys see me doing it? How many viewers do we have left? 30. There we go. You're a funny dude, man. Thanks. Seriously, let me know. I'm back to me. Let me know. Did you guys see the spot removal or not? Or otherwise, I'm just going to undo everything and I'm just going to redo it. Simple as that. And I know there's a delay between me saying something and then that you guys saw it. I did see spot. We saw that. All right. Awesome. Thank you very much. Back to the photo. Color balance. I've used it twice, so I'm just going to show you guys real quick what I've done. I've used the contrast fulcrum. And I've used the tone. Wait, I'll just go back to the spot removal. Compress the history stack. And we're back. So let's activate the color balance. Let's click the contrast fulcrum. You guys heard me talk about Boris's video. Yeah, okay. Let me increase the contrast by quite a bit. That looks awesome. That's my opinion, but it looks awesome. Okay, so color balance. We're going to increase the saturation a little bit to give it more punch. And what I want to do is I want to use the tone equalizer because Nacho is a very dark dog. And I want to bring this up. So, boop, just one, maybe two. Maybe hit control, go back one, step. There you go. Let me show you guys before and after. So this was a very quick edit. Boom, original. Boom, end result. And that's it. All right, so it was when we were doing the tone equalizer. It went off. We saw, okay, cool. All right, guys, so we've edited 4 photos. 3 of them are available. If all goes well, let me check real quick. Because I am going to do something real quick. Klaar, stream. Yes, that one. I'll re-upload a different video in a minute because I got to do some stuff. I'll re-upload the photo. I've got 2 photos for you guys. Are there any questions? What did you guys think of this? I mean, give me your honest... Where are we? There we go. Give me your honest feedback. What did you think of this stream? I'd love to know. How is the audio quality and how is the video quality? It's very important for me to know because I might be doing this in the future again because I had a lot of fun doing this. You see that sometimes things don't really go as planned and usually I can just cut it out and you guys won't see it. But in this case, I just had to, you know, do everything on the fly, which I kind of like to do, but it's hard to do. But let me know. Love how you make this look so simple. Okay, cool. Thanks, George. Heatherly. I appreciate that. Who else? Let me know. Real quick. Just like Drake. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a song he did just to, you know, show off, but nothing. Who else? We've got 30. I remember my classroom teacher. She's going, no, Rico, it's not 30, it's 30 with the th between your tongue and your teeth. I'm like, okay, I'll never forget that. Can't comment on your questions because I joined late. Would you ever accept user-submitted photos on the stream to show how you would edit them? I think I would. But I have to be honest with you guys. I did make a Patreon. For those of you that are new here, I did make a Patreon. It's in the description. And it basically tells you which tier, I think it's tier 3, that gets me to edit a photo of you. Sometimes I just edit a photo that I like the one from Vladimir. I'll put a link in the description to his Instagram. That was the first photo. But usually... I'm trying to change some stuff around, you know. So yeah, AV fine. Really enjoy the live thought process with different types of images. Thank you. I came in late, but quality of what I saw was fine. Looks good for 1080 30p. I'm seeing. Okay, both video and sound quality are great. Thank you, Evangelist Conto Gior. Wait, I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna nail that one. Evangelist Conto Georgakos without the R. Vangelis Conto Georgakos. That should be it. Mike Winston. Audio and video are fine. A little fast at times, but follow it all. Thanks. You know where to find me, Mike. If you've got any more questions, just hit me up, man. I like to consider myself approachable. So, Philip Gasson. Great stream, dude. Audio and visual, both good for me in the UK. Awesome. Mark. Really enjoyed, Rico. Thank you, Mark, for your support. You're awesome. Mauricio. Your English is very good. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Monster van Clockhouse. My man. Audio is dope. Video quality is dope. And the jokes are on point. Great. Enumal. Bericht ingetrokken. Okay, wait. I suggest to have a moderator for the streaming. Yeah, good call, man. Siegfried Mailander. Can you explain the method of the overlay? Awesome. Yeah, guys, let me tell you guys something. Let's move back to Darktable real quick. And I'm just going to, let me think of what the best photo is to use. Let's get that one. And let's go to the orientation or whatever, basic. Okay, so I'm going to make, let's get the tone curve. Yeah, tone curve. Basically, what Darktable allows you to do, I'm going to explain it real quick. It's got different blend modes. So you've got 4 normal indifference modes, and then you've got modes to lighten an image, modes to darken an image, modes that address the contrast of an image, and then you've got color channel modes that address those things. I'm going to do, let me transition back. I'm going to do a dedicated video on this, but it's a very, well, to me it is, it's a very difficult video to make because I can't really properly show you guys the different effects using Darktable. So I might just use a mix between Darktable and GIMP to explain to you guys what the different modes are. Because in GIMP, it's way more easier for me to explain to you guys what those modes do, what they achieve, and what they are used for. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to figure it out, but it's going to take me a while, Siegfried. Mano, awesome. Uncle Eric, I also came in late. I appreciate your videos and have once again, have referred others to your channel. Thank you, Uncle Eric. I appreciate that. Quality is good. I'm from New Zealand. That's a long way from here. That's a 24-hour flight for me, or a 24-hour trip. First, I got to go to Singapore. Then I got to get a new plane. Then I got to go to maybe even Australia. I'm not quite sure. Maybe New Zealand directly. It's a long flight, man. Evangelist, my name is very difficult to pronounce for Greek speakers too. You did fine. Thank you. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If I read the comments, you guys did. Thank you very much for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the links in the description to support my channel. And here we go. Until next time. Doei!